Mission Control, do you read me? I'm coming home.
Landing gear deployed.
Perfect. So, after version 18.08, engineering materials have been made a lot easier to acquire, although the brunt of those differences was made to manufactured materials. Raw materials were never that bad, but encoded materials were always special. You'd plop yourself down in a specific spot at the Jameson crash site and scan 4 beacons for 20 minutes, logging out of the game every 30 seconds and then trade those materials over and repeat. Well, the good news is that Jameson crash site now rewards a lot more adaptive encryption captures. As many as 20 per node, and they've added more nodes. Not that many though. Dropping in with 4 adaptives in my pocket, I left with over 90, but not a full tank, and the types of data rewarded haven't changed. So, rather than planting in one spot, logging out and back in to refresh the spawns, you can just zip around, scan everything once, and then return to base. Usually. Check your pockets before leaving, you may want to refresh once. It is faster, you can't say it isn't, but Jameson crash site is a minimum of 2 jumps from the nearest encoded trader at Diaguandri, and a planetary landing is involved. You can really only expect to make an income of about 17 to 20 grade 5 encoded materials every 8 or so minutes fully optimized. And not everyone has a purpose-built dolphin designed specifically to cut down the trip to the last second. I was planning to make a video on this thing, and maybe I still will someday. Build link in the description. Now for the bad news. I tested wake scanning with my stupidly optimized sports car of an Imperial Courier. I have a video about this one if you're interested, but I can say with impunity, don't bother. The rates and the amounts don't seem to have changed. I got 2 data mined wake exception drops in about 20 minutes, and they were both at the standard amount of just 3. Missions will be faster, and the Jameson crash site is almost definitely beating it now, at least in convenience. That just leaves hacking. Hacking can be done in any ship that has a recon controller and a cargo hold. Although, if you want to be fully optimized, I recommend a shieldless hull tank that runs very cold and has a Class 3 or Class 5 recon controller. The Dolphin is my favorite for this, but Diamondbacks are also great. Be advised that the hack times listed for multi-limbit controllers are inaccurate, and in my testing, they tend to perform worse than their contemporaries. But from some cursory testing, it seems that the grade 5 materials from hacking had not been juiced. So unfortunately, it seems that hacking will remain a hobby industry. To lighten the load a bit on the Jameson crash site carrying the entire encoded loop on its back, you can now get all kinds of encoded materials from mission rewards, which means Robigo mines or your choice of high-end mission looping system. But otherwise, with the exception of some quality of life improvements, which likely have the intended consequence of reducing strain on the game's login servers, the encoded loop is the same as it always was. Encoded materials are now the bottleneck for engineering, but since the cost of maxing a grade 5 modification has been reduced and the time it takes to harvest from the crash site has been improved, it's still a marked improvement.